Hello and welcome to the Phoenix 5 Info Show. I'm your host, Lieutenant Vince Lewis with the Phoenix Police Department's Public Affairs Bureau, coming to you once again from beautiful downtown Phoenix, police headquarters. As it is right now, I want to welcome back my co-host, PIO Sergeant Rob Scherer. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, boss. Good to be here.
As always.
As always.
Continue.
Kind of, sort of, ish, but usually.
It's good to be anywhere these days.
Yes, amen.
Well, I want to thank my special guest when I introduce him right now. I want to thank him because of these years of service that he's given to not only the Silent Witness organization, but the department, and he's a good friend of mine. We pass jokes over texts all weekend long, and he's just a great guy. He's also his son is a legacy employee with us as well. I want to introduce to you Silent Witness Detective Mike Fisher. Welcome.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Thanks for the invite. Thank you, Sergeant.
Great to have you, man. Great to have you.
Thank you.
So, Mike, we're going to talk about a case that our homicide detectives have asked for help with. And the case is not that old. It's this year, March. It's only a few weeks ago. But if you would, Mike, give us a kind of the rundown on this case and what detectives are asking for help with. This was a homicide case, right?
Yeah, this homicide occurred March 27th, just after 9:30 p.m. in the area of 67th Lane and Osborne. And what happened there is the suspect, Xavier Hughley, 30-year-old male, he shot his girlfriend, Amanda George, and she passed away a few days later from the injuries she received. And detectives believe that the suspect is still in the area. He's supposed to be hanging out in the area of 43rd Avenue and McDowell, I-10 area, all the way to 81st, 83rd Avenue. And that's the reason that we keep putting this out, because the detective believes that someone knows where this guy's hiding out at, and it's possible that he's staying at a hotel, he goes to eat in the area, and he also believes that the suspect has cut his hair since then, so he no longer has braids. And but he still has the same tattoos that whoever knows this guy by name or by street name, whatever, they'll call Silent Witness at 480-WITNESS with information, and we're offering a reward of up to $2,000 on this case. And we're trying to get this person off the streets. He's considered dangerous. He's armed and dangerous because we know he has a gun already. And detective believes that he's not afraid to use it, whether it's a citizen or a police officer. So that's what we're hoping for, that someone out there may know this guy and call Silent Witness.
So we're looking for Xavier or Javier?
Yeah, Xavier
Parel Hughley. What's his physical description for those listening?
Well, he's described as a 30-year-old male, 5'6", 200 pounds, and he has various tattoos on his body. And like I said, he possibly shaved his head now or cut his hair, but hopefully someone that knows this guy will call Silent Witness. And as always, when you call Silent Witness, whether you call on 480-WITNESS line, on the computer, you remain totally anonymous. And that's what we always say that, but we mean that. And what will happen is you get a case number, a code number that only you will have. And with that code number, that's how you get your reward if your information led to the arrest of this person. And also picking up the reward amounts. It's a real simple process. If you have money coming, we tell you exactly how to go about getting it. And when you go to a certain place, you get cash. They won't ask you for any ID whatsoever. They give you the money cash.
So in cases like this, Mike, like we've done some shows in the past where it's, hey, do you know this guy? And there's surveillance video or something like this. In cases like this where a detective or investigator knows who it is and they give you this information, how does it get to him? Say I'm in the area of 43rd McDowell and I happen to see this guy rolling down the street. How does that information get to that investigator to be able to proactively go out and use this information if someone is to see him? How do we get that to him, through you?
Yeah, this is real time sometimes. Like say we're in the office and we receive a tip saying this person happens to be at 51st Ave and McDowell, Red Roof Inn. We turn around and call the detective directly on his cell phone, and it's real time info, so we get that out there to him. Or if we happen to come in the next day and we see that there's a tip in there in the queue, reference this person, we turn around and email this information or call the detective again and let him know. But most of the time it's real time where the detective will be given the information right away.
So we're talking with Detective Mike Fisher from Silent Witness. We're talking about media case 2024-4179. We're looking for a homicide suspect, Xavier Hughley. He is described as a 30-year-old male, 5'6", 200 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. We have photos available that are attached to the flyer, and those were the best known photos when we actually, that we were comfortable with putting out. But talk to us about how people might change their physical appearance, so how important it is to be sure before you call.
Yeah, in this case, the detective has received information from someone close to the suspect that he possibly cut his hair. And those are the things that we look at. You know, when somebody calls and they give a description saying, they tell us directly what they did differently. And in this case, you know, we received a lot of tips on this person, and hopefully one of these tips will lead to his apprehension.
So the importance of this is that not only is he armed and dangerous and do not approach, but a random sighting of somebody who may or may not, you know, who may be close to the physical appearance that's depicted in the photo. We don't want people doing their own investigations, which kind of leads it up to the people who might know who he is. And if you know who he is and you know he's wanted for homicide, talk about the difficulty of trying to stay anonymous.
Yeah, that's the nice part about the program itself, because the person that knows where the suspect is, they can easily call us, submit it online, and then we get the information, and we always assure them that they remain totally anonymous. And when we tell them that, we really mean it, that there's no way of us knowing, for example, if they call, we don't have caller ID, your phone doesn't pop up, your name doesn't pop up. We assign a code number, like I said earlier, and with that code number, that's how you keep communicating with us. And then the person, you know, they may repeat the tips over and over with the same code number. And each time we receive any information, we forward it over to the detective, and they keep, every tip we get, they look into. And that's another thing that the public has to realize, that a lot of times people think that I'm not gonna call in, they already know this. The detective already has this information, I'm not gonna bother them. Well, we ask you to call in with whatever information you may have and let the detective decide whether it's good info or not. And if the info is good, then they'll let us know that, hey, by the way, tip number 1, 2, 3 led to the arrest of this person, and that's how the person gets paid.
I might be driving the train here a little bit, so excuse me, I'm going into host mode instead of co-host boss. But let's talk about you and Silent Witness as a whole. How long have you been doing it? What kind of drove you into this kind of work? Because it's got to be cool. I mean, you're kind of directly involved into a lot of the cooler cases, if you will. Some of these big deal cases like homicides like this. Explain that from a personal standpoint, kind of what got you into this unit and what kind of you get out of it.
Well, originally I was in 400, South Mountain Precinct, and I had applied for the DARE program. I had already been given schools to attend and teach the kids about the DARE program. And on last minute, an opening came up at Silent Witness, which I already was on the list for that. And they asked me if I wanted to go to the Silent Witness program. This was years ago. And
you don't want to say how many, Mike?
Years ago.
Years. We'll stay with years.
More than
I like
10,
it.
put it
I like
that way.
It was more than 10.
So what happened there is, imagine I had a meeting with the lieutenant, and we had the DARE sergeant on one side and the Silent Witness sergeant on the other side. The DARE sergeant is there dangling some car keys, telling me, hey, if you come to DARE, you get a assigned vehicle, you can take it home, and you don't have to waste your gas. And the Silent Witness sergeant said, Mike, if you come over here to Silent Witness, you'll have a flexible schedule versus a school schedule, which you have to, and we all know that a DARE school schedule is, you pretty much have to, you can't adjust your hours. So I ended up going to Silent Witness, and the rest is history. But the fun part about this is we not only deal with Phoenix cases, we deal with all over the Metro Phoenix area. Chandler, Tempe, Mesa, they all call us and they ask for assistance. And a lot of them, even though it's 2024, we've been around since 1979, a lot of them have no idea that we're even there as a resource for them. And once they find out and an arrest is made, especially out of jurisdiction, another city, they love that. They often ask us for assistance. And when we turn around also, we do media coverage a lot, Sergeant Bauer, and we do all the different media channels, including Univision and Telemundo, and we feature cases on a weekly basis. We send out fugitives on a weekly basis, and it's just a mode of getting the info out there about any person that's wanted out there on a felony warrant.
So, what kind of cases are we focusing right now on? What kind of cases would qualify for a silent witness tip number?
Yeah, any case, basically, it's felony related. As long as it's a felony, we don't turn down any cases. Like a lot of detectives call us and they ask us, as long as it meets the criteria for a felony. And also, too, if you're looking for a person and we verify that this person has warrants in the system, we're good to go. We put them out there, and believe it or not, we get a lot of tips on people that are wanted. And sometimes, too, the satisfying part about this program is when people call and you explain to them about the reward program, this is why you're getting this code number. They tell us, I'm not calling for the reward. I just want to get this guy off the streets because he's causing problems. And that's satisfying when you hear that, because a lot of times the people don't call for the money. You know, the reward is there, whether it's $1,000, $2,000. We have cases that are up to $100,000 with the baseline rapist. And the person that's on the other end will tell you, I'm not doing this for a reward, do whatever you want with it. And that's another thing too. All the funds that are collected for the rewards are all privately funded, meaning that we have events, we have golf tournaments, we have trivia nights, and all the money that's collected for those events goes directly into the silent witness program, and that's where the rewards come from. And also there's cases where family members themselves, they'll call us and they'll say, hey, I noticed that it's a $2,000 reward for my son's homicide. What can I do to increase the reward? Because sometimes people feel that if the reward is higher than $2,000, that more people will call. That happens sometimes, but we'll explain to them that how they do it. So they'll have a car wash, they'll have a fundraiser, and then we'll turn around and do a new flyer with the increased reward. And that's the satisfying part. I mean, it's sad sometimes though when you do talk to the family members, when they see a story, and then they call you and they want to know how they can get their son, their daughter's story on the news to get it featured so that we can solve it. And also, doesn't matter whether it's a week old, 10 years old, 20 years old, we still, on our silentwitness.org, on the website, you can look it up, all the cases that are there. There's some cases that are from the 70s and 80s in there that are still open. And in any case that's not solved, we'll take it, we'll help out.
That's great. So, yeah, we're talking with Detective Mike Fisher, silent witness detective. There's another Michael Fisher on the department, right?
Yes, sir.
And who is he?
Well, he's my son. He's 10,000 serial number, by the way, and mine's 5,000. So go from there. And the odd thing about that is that when I started in 400, I started in 42 King, which is a graveyard shift. And where did he start? 42 King. And it's just, and also, going back, I wish I would have named them differently, because I get all his emails, I get his phone calls, they confuse us. I get an invite for a 30-year award that's supposed to come to me, but it went to him, and he calls me and he says, I believe this is for you. Yeah, he was right. Yeah. But yeah, he's on. He's been on 6 years now, and he's doing good.
Very good. Great. Well, thank you, Detective Mike Fisher, for coming on the show and talking about this very important case. We're talking about the Silent Witness Media case 2024-4179, homicide suspect Xavier Hughley, wanted for the homicide of Amanda George. It took place on March 27, 2024. Once again, he's a 30-year-old male, 5'6", 200 pounds. Photos are available on the website, silentwitness.org. Remember, you can help fight crime in your community and solve cases by sending tips to Silent Witness. Call 480-WITNESS, 480-TESTIGO in Spanish, or visit silentwitness.org. Visit Phoenix Police on all social media platforms. We're hiring. Go to joinphxpd.com. And remember, we're all in this together.